lawyers have a term you use for that. The question I asked myself at that point is, what exactly are we aiming at as a people? Because this is a parliamentary committee. Parliamentarians hold in trust because we vote for them as our representatives. They represent us, and we have put an executive officer, who's the minister, in position. They tell us the minister has breached so many things. In fact, the minister has lost, through his actions, has lost us money because now the contract has been abrogated and we've paid for almost 150,000 doses, of which we've received 20,000 doses. So we are 130,000 doses short. But there's no recommendation as to what happens to someone who has engaged in this. There's flagrant violations of a number of laws. But when it comes to the issue
is it a number of laws or all the laws?
Well, all the laws. When it comes to the issue of perjury, I was with Martin on a program last night, and I did draw his attention to the fact that I was a bit concerned about going down the tangent of perjury because subsequent to this, a letter has appeared dated the 3rd of August, which seems to indicate that the monies were paid on the backside of the minister. That's what it seems to indicate. I am not saying that I believe it in its entirety. We've all seen the documents. The question I ask myself is, based on that letter, who was in a hurry to make the payments and what was it in it for that person? Because we've seen the people who signed all these letters. They are known figures. Some of them are civil servants. The payments went through the Bank of Ghana. So if it turns out that the minister, though he had broken all these laws, though he had entered into the transaction, let's say illegally, was not actually in sync with the payment, could we say that he committed perjury or he wasn't in control of his mandate? Because I would also struggle to see how such a payment could go on when the minister has told all of us that he was so concerned about Ghanaians and therefore we're not in normal times, and he was acting primarily to save all of us, not knowing that the payment had been made when he so desperately needed the vaccines. So these are the gray areas for me and for the Parliament of Ghana to see all these documents, because you must remember that this letter dated the 3rd was actually written by the legal officer of the Ministry of Health to Parliament, trying to say that they had found information after the minister appeared. With all this information, if our Parliament cannot come to a decision and a speaker or be a second deputy speaker sitting in for the speaker, because apparently the speaker, there was an issue yesterday with an accident or something, cannot make a ruling, then I only cringe. That's all I can say. I cringe because I don't know who else can make a ruling based on the information we have. So that's my initial take on that.
So when you read the recommendation that the Minister of Finance should take steps to recover the money, how do you understand he is going to recover that money?
Well, take steps to recover the money in the sense that we made a payment for which we haven't received the goods for which we paid for, in this case, vaccines. And therefore, he would have to go back to Al Maktoum to try and recover that money from him. The question I ask myself is this going to be a straightforward process? Is that not also going to go through litigation? If it does, is that not going to cost us money? And I remember, Samson, when all this started on one of these programs, I did say that my understanding of the law, because I'm not a lawyer, is that in itself doesn't mean losing money. It also means doing an act that could potentially lose us money. And so I want to understand, now that the money has been paid and potentially we could lose the money, to you lawyers, has a crime been committed? And if so, who has committed the crime?